In a universe dominated by silence, stone, and stardust, something strange happens on one small blue planet. Lifeless molecules began to copy themselves. Among all the dead matter of the cosmos, life exists. It grows, it changes, it evolves. But why? What's the point? Not the classic philosophical question, what is the meaning of life? But the point of life itself. Why does life exist at all? Because if you think it's strange that a single cell became all animals, consider this. A rock became a living cell. This is not a spiritual question or about finding happiness. It's about biology, chemistry, physics, and something more elusive. Let's look at life from nature's perspective. Welcome to Lazy Animal. Sit back and relax, and I will tell you a story. Let's dive right into today's video. Let's start simple. Plants. They don't move, they don't think, they don't plan. But they do something extraordinary. Photosynthesis. They turn sunlight, water, and air into food. They feed entire ecosystems. They reproduce, evolve, spread, dominate the land. Why? Not because they want to, but because the ones that didn't disappeared. Plants are not alive, but share the same criteria as if they were alive. Why would nature create a complex reproduction mechanics in biological matter that is not alive and unable to enjoy consciousness? Because natural selection doesn't need awareness. It only needs repetition and variation. Photosynthesis didn't happen for a reason. It just worked. And once it did, nature couldn't stop using it. But this opens up something bigger. Is life just a process that happens because it can? Life is the great exception. The vast majority of the universe is non-living. Hydrogen clouds, frozen moons, radioactive rocks, empty voids. All following predictable, unconscious laws of physics. Life breaks that pattern. It copies itself, repairs itself, adapts. It's dynamic, messy, and somehow intentional. But that's the illusion. Life looks purposeful, but no organism or plant knows its purpose. A bacteria are not aware of its existence. A tree doesn't know it's absorbing sunlight. So what is the point? Why does nature need life? Maybe the universe doesn't care. Maybe it just happened. But nature is rarely random without reason. You might ask, why didn't the universe just stay dead? Well, a comparison to life is fire. It spreads, consumes, leaves behind ash, a pure chemical reaction in nature. Life too spreads, consumes, leaves behind fossils, mutations, and civilizations. Maybe life is just a chemical fire, not a project, but a complex chain reaction triggered in the right conditions. Not because of a goal, but because the math allows it. In many areas of physics, complexity can emerge naturally like snowflakes, hurricanes, and crystals. Even before life, there was actually selection in dead matter, and still is. Not natural selection, but chemical selection. Molecules that were more stable lasted longer. Examples in nature where physics forces molecules or cells to divide are surprisingly common. Certain crystals, including ice, can fracture and divide symmetrically under specific temperature or pressure. The foremost reaction can spontaneously generate sugar-like molecules from simple carbon compounds. Still, in the beginning, it was just chemistry, and chemistry follows rules. The early Earth about 4 billion years ago was hot, violent, and toxic. In this chaos, lightning and UV radiation bombarded simple molecules like methane, ammonia, and water vapor. The reaction was amino acids, the building blocks of life. We have managed to recreate amino acids in laboratories. Not life, but the ingredients. And that is interesting in itself. Why are we still unable to create life with our modern technology when nature cooked that from rocks billions of years ago without any tools? So, if dead matter in nature also divides cells and molecules, and nature somehow assembled a living cell, why wouldn't it just become a biological soup of single cells? Why did we get evolution that sparked complex life? Why would it try to survive? The strange answer is because it had no choice. Reproduction isn't a conscious act in early life. It's a side effect of chemistry under constraint. It's called autocatalysis, a reaction where the products help create more of the same reaction. Now imagine this happening inside a tiny membrane, like a primitive cell. It meant mistakes could accumulate inside, mutations, and that means evolution. A reaction starts and more building blocks assemble. The cell fills up until pressure forces it to split, not because it wants to, but because physics demanded it. This is how survival became a mechanism, not a goal, but a bias in the chemistry of life itself. Without awareness, without intent, just thermodynamics and time. And from that moment forward, biology would forever be defined by one principle: if it can make more of itself, it will. Here's a twist. Maybe life doesn't need a point. We're just results of entropy and natural byproducts when physics and chemistry plays together in the universe. Rivers don't flow for something, stars don't shine for someone, and we're the ones obsessed with meaning because we're the only things that can even ask. A complex, conscious fire, wondering what the point is. That was never nature's intention, just a cosmic coincidence. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.